It doesn't make any sense, man.
Okay, welcome back to General Population. Today, she's the host of RT America breaking news program called In Question, hosts a podcast called Chan's Mouth. On Spotify, she's a mom and an all-around amazing woman, Miss MANILA Chan. How are you doing, senorita?
What's up, Marco? It's been forever. I miss your face.
My face. Oh, I've been drinking the beers. I actually have like the Joker thing going on because the corners of my mouth cracked. I haven't been drinking water. So we're going the other direction with it. All right. Well, holy crap. So you're a journalist and we're going to be all serious. I've known MANILA for like 15 years. So we go way, way back, as a matter of fact.
We were kids.
We were just little ones. I'm very proud of you. I don't know if I've said that a zillion times today. But
Thank you.
my God, what a...
I mean... I was going back to school when we were hanging out in Beverly Hills.
We went to Vegas together, you and let's call him Nick Fury in case we get into that.
We won't get into that, but yeah.
Yeah, we won't get into that.
We go way back in our 20s and trying to figure things out. And I was trying to go back to school at the time because I had dropped out of college, but then I worked my way back.
Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm going to ask you some questions. The crazy metal guy over here is going to ask a real journalist, a qualified journalist, some freaking questions. Hey, I don't want to make you look bad or anything like that, but I swear a lot. Should I watch my language around you right now?
No, you can say whatever you want. This is your show.
Well,
on the other hand,
but I don't want your fans to check in and be like, "Whoa, my God, she's dealing with Satan now." What the Don't talk to Lucifer. All right, so here's the thing. I went around, asked a few questions. Which is ironic. My dad actually is very interested in what you're up to right now too. And he was asking me, can you ask her some things? Because I wouldn't mind knowing how she did that. So I'm like, hey, me too. So let's just start off with the weird, when did you want? Because I don't remember. This is like left field as hell. Like all of a sudden I'm watching TV, I'm seeing what's going on. And hey, do you know Manila's a news anchor in DC? That just blew me away. So proud. So when did you actually realize that that's what you wanted to do? Be a journalist and all that?
Oh no, I've always known. I'm surprised I probably just didn't talk much about it.
I smoke a lot of weed, so like being that I'm usually either intoxicated or on my way to it, there's a good chance I forgot about it.
I just didn't really say that much. I think just growing up, I think I've always known since I was a little kid. Like when we were growing up, like the only Asian face we saw was Connie Chung, right? Like,
that's right.
That's really all we saw. So I always wanted to do it ever since the Connie Chung days, but I don't think I ever thought it was really feasible because all the faces, were blonde haired ladies that look nothing like me.
Well, I tell you what, you're very beautiful and very intelligent. People out there of all different creeds, colors, races, sizes. By the way, I've got a bone to pick with the word midget. I don't understand why that's a bad word. Has that? Like, I think little people is way worse. You're going to call somebody a little person. Doesn't that mean like you're not exactly a person? It's one of those, like, I can't really put my finger on which one's worse.
I don't know. Cause I know little people.
Yeah. Right. It's kind of, that one's even, I don't know. It sounds weird to say.
A smaller individual. I don't know.
Menahunis.
I know some smaller individuals out there and I let them identify as whatever they want to identify. I mean, whatever makes them comfortable, right? I'll call them the Pope if they want.
Nice. Yeah. I know a few little popes.
Right. There you go.
Anyway, point is, people out there, you can do whatever the hell you want. MANILA Chan, you're an inspiration. So what steps and stuff did you have to take? What kind of schooling? How long did you go to school? You obviously went. But...
First of all, for someone like me who didn't think it was actually like feasible to become a TV journalist, because growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was seriously just Connie Chung, right? Like everybody looked different than me, and maybe occasionally you saw a Hispanic lady or a Latin lady up there that was still kind of like a white pass.
Right.
They
sound white as hell until they say their name.
Right. That's like the only part that sounds like ethnic about them. Right. When they're like, Sofia, yes, señor.
No, that's funny because my name, you ready for this crazy crap? Marco Antonio Martinez Molina Baeza Franco de la Osa Lesher. My dad just dropped the Lesher at the end there.
There's all that in the middle. I didn't know it was all of that.
Yeah, my Spanish family's psychotic. I don't know why I mean, dude, I was writing that in like kindergarten.
I didn't know there was that many parts to your middle name, Marco.
It's horrific. It's like last names being passed down over generations.
Yeah.
My aunt's is like, you know, I caught a fish this big, but literally that's a long name. My cousin, bastard lucks out with Shell Joseph Raston.
That's all he has, right? Yeah. I thought he was hiding his Spaniard middle name.
No. He was going to be like his father. Rest in peace, Tito. His father, actually, his middle name was Florentine. So he was going to be another Shell Florentine Raston, which kind of sounds like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, poor uncle, man. But anyway, all right, so let's get into that. I don't want to jump around here. Steps taken. We went to college, and it is actually funny that, you know, most even the black people, you don't even recognize it, like Don Lemon and stuff like that. Like if you close your eyes, everybody sounds white. You know?
Well, no, I think the reason for that is because there's Californians, we have generally like the broadcasting voice because we don't speak too slow, like with a drawl.
Hey, yo.
That's hard for a lot of people to listen to. And we don't talk too fast like somebody from New York or Boston. So when you go to journalism school, they basically, in any state, they basically try to get you to sound like a Californian. So number one, that was already like my one advantage was because I'm a native Californian. So right. I already talk at this pace. So that's kind of what they want you to sound like. So you gotta go to college. I mean, nowadays, I don't know, to tell you the truth, nowadays there's so many outlets. People can do, you know, like their own news feeds, their own whatever. And
I mean,
there's
obviously
a lot of opportunity now
with podcasts, internet. I mean, look what I'm doing. I'm not qualified to do this shit whatsoever. But that being said, we're going to bring some people in. At least I have interesting people on there. You can love or hate me, but we've got you. So
there's an audience, Marco. That's the difference between when you and I were like coming of age and like, or going way back to like Connie Chung. There's only, you know, like you go to college, you get an agent, you get out there, you get picked up by, I don't know, a local TV network, and then you hope to get a national contract somewhere, right? Like at CBS, like what Connie Chung did. That was the old days. You and I were somewhere in the middle where they were starting to like branch out and starting to learn streaming and doing all of that. So in my case, it was more of the traditional, like, okay, you got to go to college, you find yourself an agent, you start writing for whatever, the school paper, whatever. You just put your resume out there, you put a reel together.
Right.
Old school. That's the old school traditional way. Nowadays, kids, they ain't got to do that. They don't have to do that.
We are at such a missing link in technology, our generation. I tell the people that all the time. If YouTube and all that crap was accessible when I was in my early 20s with my cousin and Nick Fury and all those assholes. But dude, we would just be everywhere. I mean, like it would have blown up. Yeah, my God.
You would have been able to put your music out there to the masses to hear
at that age, which is pivotal. But you don't, you know, like I've been talking to a lot of rock stars and all that good stuff. You don't necessarily these days, you don't need that record contract. You don't need to worry about that sort of pressure. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be 30 and I don't have it yet. You know what I mean? I might as well get a haircut and wear a tie or some shit like that, you know? So yeah, you can do that all yourself and stuff like that. So is that similar in the journalism world? If you develop your own, like there's with Alex Jones or that crazy fuck, what was his name?
I know. Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh was a radio guy, but Alex Jones, I mean, he was like an internet sensation.
Yeah, that's like literally blew the hell up. Like he or kind of tipped the voting. I can't even tell. I swear I know English. I'm not into that dude. I find it fascinating.
Yes, but he is fascinating as like a point of study, but I am not at all into whatever he calls journalism. I know I'm not saying he's always wrong. There are some things that he's like been on top of, but he didn't find a way into traditional journalism, and he broke his way through freaking YouTube. through the internet.
Freaking Justin Bieber went that route. I mean, like, goddamn, like Russell Brand. There's so many people that went through YouTube. But that being said, fuck Alex Jones, man. He's not even. I don't even think he believes most of the shit he talks about. Anyway, he just stirs it up.
Insider knowledge. I have some insider knowledge to that dude.
Why don't you want to drop some knowledge on me?
I'm not going to name names as to how I know.
Let's call them all Nick Fury.
No, I don't want to attribute it to that either. But let's just say I know we have small circles right in the media world, and let's just say that in his divorce filings from his wife filed for divorce, but in the divorce filings, it's been known that he's said in court that that's a shtick that he plays, that he's not, a racist and doesn't believe frogs are gay and all this crap. So it's all in divorce filings in court. So which one are you lying on the internet, or are you lying in your court papers in front of a judge? So,
I mean, like, I can't quote this exactly. I should have written some of this down, but he said some psycho shit to the effect of like 9/11 didn't happen or something crazy. Like that Margie Taylor lady, Green or whatever. She's going around saying all these kids are actors. You know what I mean? Like freaking pursuing a kid who's probably flipped out on guns on the street saying, I have a gun. Well, it's for my, like, lady, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Anyway, so that actually leads me into another question. This actually comes from my father. So journalists need to be impartial. You know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously the media, people take sides. And what have you seen in this little family or this little world that you've been in, how that may affect you and how that actually goes down? Like the difference between Fox News and CNN, it's like a little gang war. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're going to get. It's East Coast, West Coast, regardless.
Yes. So but that's the thing. I think it's, this is probably the one of the rare occasions I'm going to curse on anywhere in media that you'll be able to find.
You got to hear it first, people. General population with Marco Lesher got MANILA CHAN dropping the bombs.
This like turf war, left wing media, right wing media, it is all bullshit.
Nice. But you can say bullshit on TV now, just saying. That was cute. Oh my God.
I don't want people to start doing that on the news because it kind of distracts, But
Don Lemon drops him.
Well, he's kind of bullshit too, though. That's the thing.
Shots fired.
Because he takes sides. That's the thing. You're not a journalist if you start taking sides. Like the old days of like the Walter Cronkite days and the Tom Brokaw days, those are way gone. And I get it that it's kind of evolved with the new media, the new generation, and that's no one wants to see news in a stuffy button down. Everyone's an old white guy with hair combed like this, like no one wants that right now. Yes, well, nowadays you can wear like an AC/DC shirt and be a serious journalist. Like it's more acceptable to look like whatever you look like. I get that. But to be impartial, that is the difficult part, because it's so freaking easy to go to the left or go to the right and pander and just sing to your choir, your own
exactly
choir.
That's just gonna lead me into another question coming up, but that's a little late. Go ahead.
Hard to do. Like you're there. I think people forget that as a journalist, your job is to just give the audience the facts of the things happening, the things that happen at that building in the backdrop behind me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there too, man. But light it up.
You give people the facts. It's like if this was a restaurant, and I use this analogy often, is like if you came to my restaurant, or you went to Don Lemon's restaurant, or you went to Bill O'Reilly's restaurant, those two guys are going to serve you already chewed steak. Oh. Right? They're going to chew it up for you, and then they're going to digest it for you and tell you what it tasted like.
But you gotta process it and push it out, though, no matter if there's marbles and shrapnel.
They're doing it for you. And that's the modern day journalist. It's not like old school. Like if you come to the Manila restaurant or the Manila channel, you're going to get, I'm going to serve you your own steak.
I love your envelopes.
You like it. Thank you. You like it. You don't like it. Whatever. That is for you to decide, not for me. I'm not going to tell you, oh, this steak is the best in the world or whatever. No, my job is to just serve you up the steak.
Deliver the facts.
Right. Yeah, that's all the job is. But people got it all twisted these days.
Well, how do you cope with it then? Like, I mean, how do you deal with that sort of thing? It's like those are the two major networks. Like, I watched that Cuoco guide too. I shy away from Fox. I think Fox is batshit crazy. You know, at least CNN has a little bit more of what I kind of agree with. But how do you? I mean, how do you stay away?
That's a problem too, Marco. That's a problem too. People want to tune in to whatever is in their comfort zone, and it becomes an echo chamber. And you want to hear your own thought bias confirmed in front of you by watching TV. Like, I'm not going to tell you CNN's good or bad, or MSNBC is good or bad, or Fox is good or bad, Newsmax good or bad, whatever. Go on down the line. I'm not going to tell you they're good or bad, but I will say that the people that tune into whatever channel they normally listen to is because they're looking for confirmation bias rather than flipping to another channel that pisses you off for a week. Like, try watching a different channel, I would say.
I have been. I've been watching. I watch local news. I mean, I've checked you out, obviously, but it just, you know, what makes it easy for me to go that CNN route is I just don't like Trump, his racist ass. I don't like anything he's about. I mean, well, the one thing I kind of dug about him is his resilience to, like, basically not seem to give a shit and just go his route, which I do think is, like,
F's given, just
partly sociopath right there. But no, it's just, I don't like all that crap. I don't, and it's very bizarre for me to see him in a second impeachment and get away scot-free when, you know, those Republicans are agreeing with the shit that's actually happening. And the other side is saying, but they don't want their job jeopardized, because you know what happens if you vote against the guy. You know what I'm saying? Then everybody just shines you from your party. It's not like you're going to suddenly be a Democrat. You're like, fuck, man. Now I got to write going rogue. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's fascinating to me. Like, how the hell do you cope with that? And is there under the table, like, bribes, or there's shit that they do to anchors and journalists that get them to lean one way or another? Or is it just a party? Like, do you know you're getting into that based off of network?
Oh, they know, because it's coming down from the top. They know what the marching orders are before they go to Capitol Hill, or, you know, to interview Senator so-and-so. It could be anybody. They know what the marching orders are that morning when they get their assignment.
Isn't there, like, an oath you take as a journalist? I mean, is there any, like, moral code? Like, hold on.
I mean, moral is a personal thing, but no, are you kidding? You know how many people, hell no. You know how many people have sold out? I mean, I'm sure if I was willing to sell my ass out a long time ago, I probably would have gotten a huge contract somewhere else.
Thanks for the visual.
but all these people on the big networks, they sell themselves and will be the mouthpiece for whoever's in office. Like right now, MSNBC, CNN, they are licking Biden boots. They like, just trust me. When Trump was in office,
I don't think Biden's suited for this shit anyway, man. Like, we keep getting, we keep getting this, like, South Park, you know, shit burger and turkey sandwich thing or whatever it is. It's funny, man. So,
but that's the worst part, is a lot. I mean, like, I know obviously we're Californians. I think most people lean towards Democratic parties in California. But the problem is like, we keep electing, like you said, we live in this real life South Park.
Yeah, it totally is, man. It's funny.
We have just put, I think, a senile old man into office.
No, I know that Kamala Harris. In the back of her head, she's like, this fucker probably won't last 2 years, man. I might just be the president.
She was like Anna. She's like Anna Nicole Smith, waiting for, you know, J. Howard Marshall to drop dead,
salivating with A1 and a fork, just
That's
like,
right.
Oh, we're going.
Come on, like, anybody that doesn't see beyond that. I mean, give me a break. We keep electing the same people. Like, I'm not an apologist for Trump, not in any way. Believe me, I have a lot of bones to pick with that dude. But with Joe Biden, we have almost 50 years of voting history of that dude.
I know. And if you really want to play the tick for tack, by the way, I believe in aliens, and that tic tac thing was dope as hell. We'll get into that if we have time. I know you're in a hurry.
Tic tac.
Yeah. But didn't our little Joe Biden guy vote against some sort of integrating of things back in the day because that was the popular vote or some shit to that. And basically he had like a racist twitch way back in the day, which yeah, that's all. I don't know what the, like I said, I'm not
way back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but then
he also voted for us to go to war every single time. There was never a war bill that dude didn't like. You see you go back to the crack troubles of California in the 80s and 90s, and New York, I should say. California was really like the crack epicenter of America. And then secondly was New York, and third was Chicago because of all the major inner cities. But let me tell you how much Joe Biden figured all Black people are like super predators. He used that term long before Hillary Clinton did.
How in the fuck can you just shrug that under the rug though? You know, like
people just are like, oh well, whatever. He waves a blue flag, so I'm gonna vote for him.
So here's another dumb question that I'm glad I'm ignorant at all this because I could be answering things for the layman by just asking my stupid questions. But why are the people who run every 4 years so dislikable? And like, don't we have anything out there? And what the hell does it take to even run? You got to be a senator.
I'll tell you. This is an effing racket to become a politician, to get out there on a national scale. Why regular people like you and I aren't up there representing the real people. If you think AOC is like a real person just because she was a bartender before this, make no mistake.
She banged a bartender before this. Maybe it was a close.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about her sexual.
I'll make you a gimlet. Anyway, go ahead.
That's probably true, but she was made too. It's like Goodfellas. You got to get made. So it doesn't matter who you are. It's like these old school Italian mafiosos out there. You got to get made, right? Local, like your Democratic. If you're a Democrat, let's say, right, and you're a nobody, you're an up and coming Democrat in California, you have to get like your local DNC like group or council or whatever. Those little groups have to support you and push you up and keep pushing you up until you get to the Sacramento, like state level. By then you have been brainwashed through the freaking system, because now you've been dabbling in politics for probably 10 years on a local level, and you've gotten support. You have to get support from all like the little, like your city council, and then the LA County board, and then like all of like Southern California. You got to build a lot of support between here and there, I should say, before you get to a national level. You got to get like the DNC of California before you get to the national level. You got to win over the DNCs of like the Western Conference. You got to win over all these people before you finally get to your spot on a national platform.
And I would imagine, and the shit part to all that is then you end up with your good old boys, and you end up with all the people that are backing you up, which is clearly fucking racist and clearly wrong. But there's so many of them in the mid-Bible.
They all got an agenda.
Yeah, and then you got somebody who may not agree with their logic and shit, but if you talk bad about them, then you lose your whole freaking core audience or whatever's going on, which sucks. Then you're just desensitized, and then how do you claim to be feeling anything, any desire for the actual masses outside of your own personal gain? You know what I mean?
You don't. It gets washed. It's indoctrination through like several years. Like AOC, yes, like she might seem like an anomaly, but she didn't get there without the blessing of like the DNC in New York. Let me tell you that.
All right. Well, I don't want to be too disheartened, but it's like I didn't like politics to begin with. Usually the whole thing, and here's the funny part about me, I've got my family are immigrants, my family, you know what I mean? In a sick way, they were for Trump. I'm going like, why? They just didn't like Hillary. That was like that simple. Like, so when you have, for good reason. Got it. Well, first of all, I couldn't stand this. That open.
Very unlikable.
Just really unlikable. Now Trump was kind of funny because he like broke down some walls, but I knew that was going to be a damn train wreck anyway. So anyway, let's get into a little bit of that. Since you are in Washington D.C., right? And that's where you reside. You are a journalist, TV anchor in D.C. What in the? I got to get into it. What the hell was it like? That insurgents, that insane shit. Like, I mean, you being a woman. you being Asian, we'll get to that later because Trump's a dick, and you know the Kung flu and everything, and how old men and shit are getting pushed to the ground and stuff. So we'll get to that. But what the hell is that insurgent thing like? That insurrection through you?
Well, that week, because of coronavirus, my company has been putting us on an A-B schedule. So like one team covers one full week, and then the next team, and they, you know, it's a divide and conquer strategy, because in case one team gets sick from COVID, they get all quarantined and the other team comes in and covers, right? So it's kind of worked. We've stayed healthy for the most part, at least my team anyway. But
are you allowed to drop opinion? Like, do you think it was premeditated and Trump knew what was going on, or should we stay?
I don't think Trump. No, I don't think he personally knew. I don't think it was I don't think it was like that deep. I think there were probably that week I happened to be home, which is only a few miles away from the Capitol building, but I was watching it unfold on TV and I was thinking, oh my God, what the hell?
I was blown away, man.
Is happening? Like, this is going to be bloody. And I thought, for real, I really thought that this was going to be the start of the Civil War.
It basically almost was. I mean, like it's dulling down a little bit after but it really basically almost was. The reason I think Trump knew about it was because I believe there was a quote where he told somebody in his, like a colleague or something, you're going to need 10,000 troops, or you're going to need, you know, some crazy odd amount of freaking cops. And he's like, I'm not joking, on January 6th. Isn't that like a dead giveaway? And while things are actually going down, he didn't do anything to really stop it, you know? So
yeah, I agree. I think he's like really bad at, I think he doesn't want to disappoint his base. So I think it was kind of bad on his part, obviously, for not like you said, not doing enough to tone it down. But I think in terms of bringing in the troops beforehand,
that might be hearsay. I don't know. I wasn't, you know, I just heard some thing on the TV.
I don't know if that's confirmed, but I do know that the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser, had already requested for that, because, you know, we have departments like Homeland Security and you know, like local FBI field offices everywhere who are, you know, they have dudes that infiltrate these forums and the dark web and whatever. They have dudes that sit there and go into these chat rooms and they see what's happening, you know. So they knew that to some degree there were going to be a lot of people that are pissed off and that might be storming the Capitol.
I mean, they showed up with weapons. They showed up with actual like thing. I mean, who just shows up with a fucking noose? They erected a noose outside.
And that's pretty weird. But
yeah, I was like, this is
people in the world.
I mean, you gotta have, and like I don't know. I've been watching a little of that stuff. Usually, like late at night when I'm done jamming or done smoking weed for the time being or something, I'll watch what's really going on. And I don't know if it's really going on or not. It's just baffling to no end. As far as the racism and everything that was going down last year, there were a lot of black people killed and everything like that. And that Floyd thing, still, I don't know who I was talking to, maybe Sean or somebody, but that thing with the guy calling for his mom, you know, and the guy sitting there suffocating him to death right in front of everybody. Like, I don't understand how people aren't going to freaking jail for shit like this. Now it's turned into Trump is talking about the Kung flu and all that stuff. You being an Asian woman, a mother to an Asian man, how the hell do you cope with? Well,
he's not a man yet. Don't make him a
boy.
Whatever.
Well, I'm gonna show him how to play.
Don't make my 2-year-old a man yet.
Show him how to play some. He told me he's already headbanging, so yeah. He's gonna get down with the thing.
Like the drums. You can't tell Shell.
That is all Shell. Well, my God, could you imagine that? You're kidding.
Shell teach him?
No, well, but imagine him being in a metal band or a rock band or anything like that.
Oh God.
No. Well,
trying to raise a good Asian son here, you know.
Yeah, well,
gotta graduate high school with like a 4.5 GPA at like 14. So.
Yeah, I know, right? 13 and a half. Hold that's on. Right. He's teaching AP math this senior year.
That's right. That's what I'm aiming for. But he's over here into headbanging and skateboards. So.
Well, keep in mind, we can teach that kid a few things. We got an album coming out. Like, not my personal life. Stand clear of that. But like, we are pretty good at what we do. At least, you know, Shell's been doing his own kind of music. Yeah, we might jam metal again together or whatever.
I hope you guys do. You guys we're so freaking talented. We didn't have these resources 20 years ago.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, putting out an album actually in like the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. So
Oh.
we're gonna be jamming with the man. I actually just talked to Dave Ellison from Megadeth like last week. So
Oh, you mentioned, yeah.
he was on the show. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually, this is a pretty neat thing. Anyway, let's get back to the racist and the fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So how the hell are you coping with that? And how do you think this can actually blow over? And in conclusion, how do we keep from even letting shit like this happen?
Well, one, America has never been post racism ever. I mean, not before Obama, not after Obama. And I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, because I think racism, it's nothing you can freaking legislate away. I don't care how many laws the people in that building behind me pass. If you have hate in your heart, it's there, man. Like, you're not, it's who you are. It eventually consumes you, right? Like, hate consumes you. So the people that have that, can they change? Sure. But it comes from a place where they need to want to change, or if they even recognize that it's hate filled and it's hateful. So that's number one. But like, for me, with all this Asian stuff, like, I was so pissed off last year. I mean, when Trump was still allowed on Twitter, I used to tweet at him all the time saying,
has he ever responded to you?
No, I'm sure. Well,
Oh,
I know he was very familiar with RT America, and I would imagine my work. I mean, my face is on there like a gazillion hours a week.
Have I mentioned I'm proud of you?
Thank you.
Very
But
proud.
I'm relatively sure he's seen some of my stuff and my tweets. But again, I don't think he understands the consequences of his a-hole behavior in front of the cameras, or when he was allowed on Twitter. I don't think he understood that there are social ramifications to it, right? Like,
I love that he's been banned from all social media outlets.
I don't.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You're right. After you said that, I do realize that I don't either, because I'd like to hear what first of all, it's freedom of speech. Right. It is an amendment.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah, but I kind of like to hear what he has to say, because it pumps me up, we
know he's an asshole. We all know that. So, like, let's just see what this dumbass has to say, and then we know how to respond, and we know where his train of thought is going, right? And how you can fight against it. I think it's more dangerous if Trump is your enemy. I think it's more dangerous to not know what your enemy is thinking. I think it's better when they open their big fat mouths so you can plan against it.
That is true. You know what I mean? Like, aside from the fact that he might be inspiring a lot of people to do negative things, it's not like there are underground sites he can't get to. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of resources.
He's like, Senor Trumpy.
Yeah, right. I don't even, man, you could put that shit over here. I can't even do it. Before you know it, there'll be a picture of me online going, I think Marco's a racist.
I think it is some bullshit. Do you know how much hate crime has been up against Asians?
Yeah, well, recently. I lost my virginity to an Asian girl. I'll say that.
Well, you were in Hawaii. So
I was in Hawaii. I was 15. I thought that was pretty cool. She was a tourist and didn't speak a lick of English. I was drawing in the sand. I'm like, Kuji, jacuzzi. It worked. I don't know. It worked.
15. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
Boys in Hawaii. Well,
living on the beach too. It was pretty cool.
I still have never been to Hawaii. I still want to go.
You've never been, like, the whole time? Never
in my life. Like, I've been to some exotic places, and I've literally never been to Hawaii. I was always so jealous of you and Shell and Nick Fury. Growing up.
Watches this shit. I'm so pissed off at that guy. But no, you got to go to Hawaii. Not right now. You're probably going to end up in quarantine or something like that.
No, I really want to go. I mean, I don't know how or when, now that I'm on this side of the country, but I mean, at some point I definitely want to go, maybe when the kid's like a little bit older, but I want to check out, the what is it? The hang loose.
Hang loose. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm afraid of, like, here are my fears: heights, spiders, fuck spiders, and sharks. They're no good.
So all of Hawaii, everything you grew up around.
Pretty much everything I grew up around. However, the water is a lot more inviting out there in the islands, to where out here it's like all black and cold. And you're like, okay.
That's how it tricks you, right? And the sharks eat you.
I know. There's sharks out there. when I was young, I was so fearless. I'm like, ah, screw it. We'll swim to the island. Fucking like through a channel. Not anymore these days. I'll tell you what. But yeah, you definitely got to visit. You would love it.
I know. I saw all your guys' pictures when you guys were kids. I was so jealous. Like, man, I'm stuck here in LA, born and raised out here. This sucks. Like, just concrete jungle and buildings, cars.
Nice. It's the funny part is it's kind of reverse racism out there because there's so much. There's a lot
you're
of
Howley.
I'm a Howley, regardless of Espanol and all. Well, yeah, that emphasizes Howley. But yeah, so that was a thing. So out there, I mean, and that's how I grew up, you know, for the better part of my life, at least till I became
what was the racism like for you? I'm going to flip the script here and ask
yeah,
you
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
What is, first of all, do you believe that there's such a thing as reverse racism, or is it just racism? And what was your experience being a white dude out there?
Yeah, it's racism, but like, you know, out here in the mainland, like everybody's got their racist people in their, you know, whatever culture and stuff like that. But I don't know, there's something about white people that just do it to an extent that really fucking, you know, that's like their poster child of a racist asshole is some redneck.
But is it like in Hawaii though? Like when they're calling you a Howley or whatever? I mean, did they like try to beat you up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
really?
when yeah, there's a thing called Howley bashing. I don't know if it's still going on. I mean, you never know. Like out there, depending on the island too. We lived on Kauai for a while, so it's a lot more Polynesian based than it is Asian based, even though it's everywhere. You know what I mean? So the sovereignty thing was huge, and people, you know, that didn't belong there shouldn't be there. And especially if you're, you know, a high school kid going to a party in Waimanalo, and freaking, you know, everyone's drunk before you know it, somebody's getting their ass handed to them, which is freaky because Polynesian people are huge.
Yeah.
You know I mean? Like
the Rock.
Yeah, like for real, like fuck. But at the same time, it's not everybody. It's not everybody. It's just certain people, and you know, watch out, shit happens. But
is it really like the hang loose?
Well, it's shaka. It's, I mean, people don't like hang loose. It's like, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, you know, there's racism everywhere. But I mean, I tell you what, you don't want to get, you know, you don't want to run into two big old Samoan guys in the midst of I need to prove some shit, you know, about, and like just be, hey guys, what's going on? Fuck.
Oh.
But it's pretty brutal. But other than that, no, you'd love it. You'd be Queen Bee out there, man. I tell you what.
I blend right in though. I just look like everybody else.
For real.
Another brown Asian.
But it is beautiful. It's just, I don't think there's ever going to be an end to it until we're all gray. Real quick, do you believe in extraterrestrial life, UFOs? What the Pentagon released not too long ago is
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any experience seeing anything like that yourself, or hearing about it? And now you're not allowed to talk.
Oh, I have, like firsthand twice in the 80s.
I want to know. You tell me right now because I'm obsessed.
Twice. Okay. First time, me and my best friend Tina, we were kind of like, you know, just rambunctious, like kind of tomboys growing up. So I was obsessed with stargazing. Like I was probably in, I don't know, 3rd or 4th grade. So I'm in elementary school, right? And we're on the roof of my house. We climbed to the roof.
I got such a similar story.
We're just looking at the stars, right? And we're just two kids laying there looking at stars, looking at constellations. And I distinctly remember looking at a star and then having it move erratically, like zigzagging around. And
that's what they do, those fucking things. Like it's just so erratic and unbelievably not what we are capable of. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And mind you, I'm like not even 10 years old at the time. So either people are going to say that I was a kid imagining things, but me and my best friend Tina were looking at each other like, a star shouldn't be able to do that. Like,
yeah, right.
What? That's not like a comet. That's not a meteor. Like,
and it's not a satellite if it's doing erratic behavior. A satellite maybe just coasts. Yeah,
no, but this was like, it was like thrusting itself this way, this like zigzag, total zigzags in the sky, and then it hovered, like, and it looked like a star. It looked like a dot, a bright shiny dot, but it zigzagged, and I still remember this clear as day. And then it was almost as if it realized we saw it or something, but in that moment, it like stopped, and then it went pew, and just kind of just shot up away, completely out of the sky, like you couldn't see it. So not long after that, we were playing dodgeball at school.
Nice. Very nice.
School, right? So, you know, the big red ball or whatever. So we're in the big circle, and I had to get shaken out of it because I happened to be looking at the sky, middle of the day at school, clouds, and I see very, very clearly a saucer shaped, shiny thing dart from behind a cloud. It kind of hung there. I mean, this must have been just a split second or two.
You were able to see the shape of the thing and all that?
Yeah, it definitely looked saucer shaped. Like,
I love that shit.
So it had like rounded edges and it was kind of flat. And it definitely was a metallic thing of some sort because I remember it had a reflection, like the sun glistened off of it. And it came out from behind the cloud. And I looked up and it caught my eye. And then it kind of zigzagged a little bit and darted away from back behind the cloud. And I only stopped staring at the sky when I got the freaking dodgeball thrown in my face. So,
I totally forgot you were playing dodgeball, man. You had me wrapped up into that story.
That was it. Like,
I'm like, holy shit. Grab some popcorn.
I never saw it again. Like, I always wanted, like, I keep looking up, like, aliens are real. Aliens are real. This is real. And I beg and pray, like, come back, come back, come back. I've never seen them again. Just third grade. So twice in third grade, never again.
I'm 100%. All right. I have a similar story. I don't know who I told this to. So it was 4 or 5 of my friends. We were in Kailua, Honolulu, and it was late at night. So we're all hanging out in his living room. We all go to the roof, right? And we're just sitting there. We're all laying down, staring at the sky.
Yep.
5 of us. All right. 5 of us. So, and out of the blue, a green orb, I shit you not, like not just like kind of maybe, is that green? I mean, a fucking glowing green orb, like the brightest green, like the damn light on the top of your computer, like one of those stupid things. It just appears and takes off across the sky and stops and then shoots in another direction, goes behind a cloud lights up, and then it just takes off like backwards. And you see this thing just gone.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what the? Right. I have to this day, I'm 41 years old today. I was like 19. I'm not 41 years old today. It's not my birthday, but you get the point. Today I am 41. But no, like ever since then, I'm like, look, there's no solid answer. I've tried Googling what that is. It's not ball lightning. You don't have green ball lightning that does that. It just, I don't get it. So I want to know more. I want to know more so badly that I want to talk to that Tom DeLonge guy from Blink 182. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Remember Blink 182?
What does Tom DeLonge have to do with aliens?
He quit the band and he's obsessed with it. I forget the name of his clubs or whatever he does, but he like urged the government to actually release those 3 videos, or he had a lot to do with that crap. So there's a Tic Tac thing, there's a Go Fast thing, and there's one where like there's a damn spaceship or whatever rotating, and you hear the you hear the pilots going, look at that thing. There's more of them, you know, like there's a whole fleet of them. Like that shit is so bizarre. And they can't explain what it is.
I agree. I think the Pentagon, I mean, there are so many deep, dark secrets that, you know, we're not going to find out in our lifetime because it'll be released, you know, like 100 years later. Like they're sealed for like 100 years. Right. And like the first, you know, video recording of it was like 1953 or whatever. So we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't actually know. I'm just throwing a number out there. But let's just say it's like they seal it for like 100 years, right? Or 150 years or whatever. So I don't know, maybe the generations in the year, you know, 2130, maybe they'll be able to finally see all those like Pentagon documents and
I hope
Area
so.
51 and whatever.
Every time something gets declassified, there's so much black ink on the thing. You don't really know what the hell it all says, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying there's a fat chance. Like I even believe that Travis Walton guy, you know what I mean? Like his story sounds, and like, there's a guy named Bob Lazar. Have you heard of Bob Lazar? He worked at Area 51.
I'm familiar.
S4. Yeah. He said some story on George Knapp or his show in like 88 or something like that, to where he reversed engineered spacecrafts and stuff like that, which kind of really pointed the finger back at Area 51. Anyway, he's been scrutinized and questioned ever since. But every time you hear him talk, it's like, how the fuck does he know all that? He knows everything about Area 51 and all this stuff. And like, I I don't know. I believe the hell out of it. I really do.
Well, just being here in DC and like having been to all these, historic buildings in DC, like the Capitol building or over to the Pentagon or whatever, you go to the State Department, you just know that there are some deep, dark secrets that they want buried away, never to make the light of day for regular people to ever learn, because for whatever reason, they think it's going to be too dangerous for us to know, or maybe it'll cause like public fear.
I'm torn on that.
I mean, dude, we got a virus and the store shelves ran out of food and toilet paper.
Bro, I'd be like, yeah, there were lines around like parking lots, like twice wrapped around I live in Westwood in LA. There's a Ralph's down the street. It was like an hour wait to get in there when it first started. It was absolutely bizarre.
That's what I'm saying. This is from like a pathogen that exists on Earth, right? Like this is how people responded to a friggin', whether it's like natural evolution or whatever theory you want to believe, but whatever, this is a friggin' virus and we've seen how people respond. Can you imagine if the friggin' US government confirmed without a shadow of a doubt that aliens exist and we don't know if they like us or not?
Yeah,
like,
religion goes nuts. Everybody loses their shit. There's war.
The social fabric gets just torn apart. Every Costco, like I think every Costco would be emptied out. There'd be no talk about toilet paper shortages. Oh my God. Imagine what that would look like. The Charmin factory would go bust and everybody would be building underground bunkers because, shit, you don't know if these things like us or not, or are they things? Are they, I mean,
actually with Sean,
coronavirus, let me ask you this. How do you know the coronavirus isn't alien
extraterrestrial? Yeah. Could like some sort of crowd control from an extraterrestrial source. I don't. We can speculate.
I'm not going to say that that's what I believe, but I'm just putting it out there that we don't know because the US government will never fully admit all the things that they do know.
Right. It's good and bad. I think, secrecy is good to a level because people aren't going to be able to handle it. But I mean, I don't want to be completely ignorant to shit. Cause like if I run into some weird hovering craft in a backwoods of like, say my ex-girlfriend's house, I'm just there to pick up some old shoes or something. I don't know, figure it out. And I run into something and all of a sudden there's radiation hitting me and I'm blistering. I don't know what's going on. I don't have an answer for it. I don't want people to be ignorant to what could help me like get over that if they know exactly what that is. So I don't know, but I've been tripping on so many of that stuff. Like I literally watch like 5 alien documentaries a night and the same ones over and over to like try and find
aliens, Bigfoot, right? Like Yeti or whatever. I mean, different places call it different things, but essentially Bigfoot.
I'd like you to just call me Marco. That's fucking dumb. That's really dumb.
But seriously, I think the government knows more about that as well, because how many times are you going to have people come up with accounts of, even being attacked? Like I've recently seen something, we're all at home watching Netflix and whatever, Amazon Prime Video or whatever.
I'm a YouTube guy. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Find all of these things. You find people like that would otherwise seem like perfectly normal people. You would never look twice at them, but then you ask them and they have this weird experience about like this giant furry man,
right,
that chased them through the woods while they're riding their bike, right, and like ate their dog or something. Like
some wild shit. There's a story, some guy who was woken up and he was like being carried, didn't know what was going on. He like realized that he was being carried by a big old Wookiee type animal. I don't know what to believe on that level.
Came and stole him.
Oh, well, there are a lot of animals that we are not aware about, and the ocean has a shitload of undiscovered territory. I was watching some weird thing to where there was like what is it called? Like, shit, I forget the name of the show. It doesn't matter. I don't want to plug them anyway, but it's a cool show. You know what I mean? It's something. They had like an underground or underwater deep diving submarine thing taking some footage, and there was a strange 2-dimensional black looking like symbol, and all of a sudden it becomes 3-dimensional and it has this like beak that's like bioluminescent, but the whole thing's black and it kept changing. Yeah, it had this weird like a metallic looking beak. They were like, is that some crazy probe or some strange thing? Like I don't,
like a natural creature, but
it looked mechanical, like it was nutty looking. You could probably Google it. I don't know what the hell it's
In the
called.
depths of the sea, though, I will say this, that there a lot of the creatures that are like a mile below and even further down, they do bioluminescence.
Yeah.
They
But
need that.
that one was just a little bizarre. When we're done with this, I'll look it up and send it to you. You'll be
I'm
like,
no
wait,
expert.
that does look like, yeah, me neither. I swear to God, I was probably smoking weed when I was watching that anyway. That's probably why I don't remember the name, but I know what I saw. I definitely know what I saw. All right. Well, God, I could talk to you all goddamn afternoon. I want to know what your first big story was. Like, what was the big moment where you're like, I am a TV journalist anchor, you know?
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
what was that moment that you realized you're there, you made it? Because you did.
I would say the first time, what year was it? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, that I was there for the State of the Union address. I was in the middle of the Capitol Hill Rotunda covering it for Ed Schultz, the late great Ed Schultz. He was with RT America right after he left MSNBC. There was a big fallout there. I mean, if Ed was around, he would have told you, how and why he ended up leaving, because of basically the big media trying to control what he said.
Which I would have such a problem with. I wouldn't be able to follow guidelines on a respectful level like you do.
That's why he left MSNBC. He had a big fallout, and then he wound up with RT America, and he has freedom of speech there, or had, I should say. It's still weird to think that he passed away a couple years ago, but he was the main anchor, and I was basically his Girl Friday. And there I was, this little girl from Whittier, California, no family hookups, nobody to help me get to where I was. There I am standing at the freaking Capitol Rotunda doing hits on national and international cable news, talking to senators coming through, Congress people coming through as they were going to the freaking, State of the Union address, right? Like everything's locked down like that. It is really crazy when you're at Capitol Hill, which is why I think it's really weird that the people were able to get through, because I've been to Capitol Hill
that's been blowing my mind. How the hell did they even? Anyway,
let me tell you.
Yeah.
as a little Asian lady, right? Like, I'm barely over 100 pounds, and the kind of searching and scrutiny I have to go through with a media press badge that the Capitol Hill police and FBI had to clear to give to me, for me to get through to Capitol Hill, to get in. How did they? There
was a lot of them. It was probably hard to hold them back, but like that just shows the whole world what it takes to, bust through the doors of our fucking nation's capital.
It's weird. It was just weird to think that when I saw that happening, earlier this year. But I think that first moment for me was that standing there going, wow, here I am, just feet away, another room away from the president of the United States, about to give the State of the Union address. And wow, I'm here.
There you are. Well, I'm very proud of you, and I can talk to you all afternoon. I know you got production meeting here. Let me say this again, because I want people to be able to find you. So she is the host, RT American news program called In Question. She also hosts her own podcast on Spotify called Chan's Mouth. And trust me, there's a lot of good shit that comes out of Chan's mouth. So
thank you.
She's a great woman extraordinaire, and I definitely appreciate it.
Have me back.
Yes, ma'am.
I will talk more about random stuff.
I'll talk to you soon. Checking out General Population, to be continued.
Thank you, Marco.
Bye-bye.